Hey guys, Gamer Bro here with another video. I'm going to be going over a Tempest Rush build that I've been using to farm caches. If you don't know what caches are, they're the rewards for completing all of the bounties in an act. So pretty much what we're doing with this build is we're running through on normal, hard, expert, master, just to complete everything and get those cache bags, which drop, they can drop legendaries, they drop gear, gems, stuff like that. So um, for this build, you're gonna want a two-handed weapon. Some people they like using the dual-handed weapons. I talked to a dude in my clan today. He said he liked using them because he got higher crit damage. But I tried it out. I tried using the two-handed or the dual wielding Tempest Rush build, but my spirit was dropping too fast. Even when I would have full stack sweeping wind, it still dropped really quick. So for this build, I highly recommend using a two-handed weapon, just for one of the passive skills I'm going to show you. And you definitely want a socket in there for that crit damage. You can't. We're already losing 100 and something percent crit damage from switching from dual wield to two-handed, so you definitely need that at least one socket in that. You don't necessarily need high toughness because we are going to be running this on lower difficulty settings, just to run through it really quickly. But you want high damage, high crit chance, and high crit damage. You can get it as high as you can. Mine's almost 300,000, but I mean it's not really that big of a deal because of the lower difficulty settings. And spirit regen. If you do this build exactly how I show you, you're not gonna have to worry about spirit, and I'll show you why. But movement speed, that's gonna be another big one. We're gonna try and run through this as quick as possible, so we want to have high movement speed as well. As far as Paragon points, I just for the core, I just put it in movement speed. Again, I'm just trying to do it as fast as I can because we're going to be running this on lower difficulty settings. Crit hit chance, just because the more we crit, the more damage we can do, the faster we can run through the elites and stuff. Life regen doesn't really matter here. None of these really affect how fast we can do it. And then utility, just life on hit, just in case I get stuck in some AoE or something. Okay, so let's get into the build. The build, we are going to be using Tempest Rush, of course, with the Tailwind rune, just because we're going to be running 25% faster. You could take the Northern Breeze if you're having trouble keeping up spirit, but again, if you do this exactly how I show you, you shouldn't have any problem with keeping your spirit up. So for this build, we're going to be using the Tailwind. Then Sweeping Wind with the Inner Storm. You can't really switch this out with anything just because of the Inner Storm room, where we get that extra 4 spirit per second once it reaches 3 stacks. So you really need that. Mantra of Healing is my favorite mantra. It has so many uses, but it's gonna have a life regen, as well as it gives us what is it? Is it 3 or 2? Yeah. Let me see. Circle of Breathing. We're gonna be using a Circle Breathing rune. I'm sorry, but it's giving us 3 spirit per second. So definitely want that. Mystic Ally. This thing has a dual purpose as well. With the Air Ally rune, pretty much it's given us an extra 2 spirit regen, and sometimes this game can be stubborn. Again, you gotta remember that Sweeping Wind has a chance that when you crit to gain an extra stack. So sometimes you might just be sitting at 2 stacks for a little while. And the Air Ally comes in handy when your spirit's dropping kind of low, and you just activate it and you automatically gain 100 spirit. But the spirit regen is mainly what we're concerned with. That it just comes with that extra bonus. Then Blinding Flash with the Faith in the Light rune. We're using it because we just tear elites apart. I will show you here in a second. Because of that extra 29% damage. Now you have to use this in conjunction with the next skill to just completely annihilate any champions or elites while we're trying to farm these caches, but it does come in handy a lot. And then Epiphany for our last skill. I know in my lightning build I kind of took this out. I didn't really like it. It was too slow, too long of a cooldown. But in this build, it's perfect for running through those elites and getting those legendary drops when we need, or if trying to get them. We're going to be using Inner Fire with Epiphany. It's going to make a lot of little fire monks come out and do their thing, and that is really what's going to clear out all these bosses and elites and champions and stuff. So very helpful. Now for the passive skills, going to be using Transcendence. This really doesn't matter. I mean, you could change it up if you wanted to. You know, if you wanted a little bit more damage, you could go to Unity, I guess, but it doesn't really matter. Or I mean, oh, you know what? Even for let's see, for the sake of this build, let's do fleet-footed. Why not? We'll go fleet-footed, more speed. Then Exalted Soul, you definitely need this passive. The reason being is because Sweeping Wind costs 75 spirit, so once you activate Sweeping Wind at the beginning of a fight, and you want to do that because you're trying to get your full stacks, so it's going to take down 75 spirit, and then once you hit Tempest Rush, that's another 15, that's 90, and then it's 10 after that, so you're going to be down to around 60 spirit if you don't take Exalted Soul, and you need to get those stacks really quickly just to keep your spirit up, so you're going to be running kind of low and risk losing. You're risk running out of Tempest Rush and stop moving. So definitely want to use Exalted Soul, and the 2-second Spirit Regen, we need that too. Now the next passive, I feel like the developers of Reaper Souls made this passive just for Tempest Rush, and that is Momentum. Moving 30 yards increases your damage by 15% for 4 seconds. That they had to have made this ability. I mean, this just screams Tempest Rush to me. And I'll show you here in a second why this is so important, but we're constantly moving, so our damage is constantly going to be increased by 15%, so that is huge. And this passive, this is the reason why you need to use a two-handed weapon as opposed to dual-wielding weapons, because of the second effect there. While using a two-handed weapon, all spirit generation is increased by 35%. That is going to put our spirit regen up over the top, to where we don't have to worry about our spirit at all once we reach full stacks of Sweeping Wind. And we hardly ever have to worry about our spirit regen at all, even when just running around. I'll show you real quick. Yeah, if you activate Tempest Rush, as you can see, like my spirit's not going down that fast just because that it's really that ability. It adds an extra like 2.45 spirit regen per second, I think. So I mean, you can run a lot just not even without Sweeping Wind. And with Sweeping Wind, we don't have to worry about it at all. But so I want to show you the difference here, because a lot of people are saying stick with dual wield for the crit chance. If you're trying to do this on a higher difficulty, you could probably go dual wield and then take the rune and the Tempest Rush that lowers it to 8. So you wouldn't have to worry about that 2 spirit, and then you'd have increased damage. So maybe if you're trying to do this on a higher difficulty, that would work for you. Just switch the rune out in Tempest Rush. But I don't really care too much for it. So as you can see, our damage is 400 1,000 with the dual wielding. Now once we switch to the two-handed, it drops down to about 374,000. But once we activate all our abilities, I'll show you really quick. Once we get that momentum up, it's 430 damage. And then once we activate Blinding Flash, 539,000 damage. So I mean, as you can see, all this stuff in conjunction, and we use Blinding Flash with Momentum, with Epiphany. We're going to be Epiphany. I'm sorry. We're going to be doing a lot of damage, especially those elite packs. They don't stand a chance. So you get legendaries and stuff really quickly. So yeah, you want Dex, Vitality, Crit, Damage, and Crit Chance on all your stuff, and you definitely have to have a socket in this. But let me see here, lower the difficulty down so I can show you I was running something else. Let's see, let's go to, yeah, whatever, let's go to normal, because a lot of people like to do caches on normal just so they can do it really quickly. So, let's get into a bounty here and show you how exactly this works. So, we're going to be trying to do this as quickly as possible, because that is the goal, just to get the bounties complete. So we don't really care about anything. Of course, you want to loot any chests, you can, but this is also a great way to get mats for gear and stuff. Do this. Really easy to farm stuff on this, like this, guys. Okay. Here's an elite pack, pop blinding flash and epiphany, and they just go down really quickly, so it's not that hard. And as you can see, epiphany just lasts a long time. So, but yeah. And then we're done. Let's get that shrine. Go back to town. And it's like that way, guys. You just rinse and repeat. You know, every bounty on that act, you just run through the acts, you get the caches. So I mean, it's a really quick way to do these bounties. And again, you know, you can get those rift. Are they rift? I don't know what they're called. Rift tokens or something. Rift keystones. There you go. Rift keystone fragments. So you can open up the rifts, and you can open up the rifts on any difficulty. So get those, and you can go run a rift on Torment 6 if you wanted to. Get some epic gear. But yeah, that's the build, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if there's anything you change about it so I can try it out. Yeah, stay tuned for more. This is Gamer Bro out, and peace.